Oh, it's like going on every planet in the solar system, that you imagine it is. 1 minute you're on this red landscape, go over the mountain, and then you're on the moon, isolated, otherworldly. Yeah, strange.
Welcome to 10-Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Shane Patrick.
With me, as always, is Phil Freeman. Today, we're chatting with Simon Siggs, motorcycle rider, angel investor, hat wearer, food truck entrepreneur.
Let's get right to it, shall we? What else is on the horizon for travel or whatever you got? What do you got? Anything?
Right. Yeah, I mean, a big one, I doubt. I'd like a camper van to put a little 250 dirt bike on the back. That's what we're striving for. I want to show Barb's all of Britain, show her North Wales, spectacular. I want to take her up to Scotland, show her the islands.
You've
And
been
we
up
want to
through
try.
there, all through there, right? Several times, right?
Yeah, it's marvelous. Yeah, and when you get north of Aviemore, it's quite desolate. For Britain, overpopulated, civilized Britain, it's quite raw up there. And again, it's great, and it's quite a fairy tale feel to the villages that you do find. Yeah, and it's rugged, not big mountains like you've got, but it's quite rugged still. And there's lots of
Well, the weather can be make up for that too a little bit with the different changes in temperature and mist and driving through the clouds and all that stuff.
yeah, it's four seasons in a day quite a lot of
Yeah.
the time. I mean, when we did it on bikes, it was August, and we got away with it. We got lucky. We had 2 weeks of more or less sunshine every day,
That's
and
unheard of.
probably, huh?
That's unheard of. So
Yeah, exactly. We got super lucky. Yeah, it's spectacular. So I want to show her up there. We want to, her family's still got a lot of family in Rome. It'd be nice to keep driving down there. It'd be great. I've never done that. I'd love to drive down through. Never been to Germany. I'd love to drive down through Germany. But as bike trips, it'd just take one of you lot ringing me up and going, right, in 6 months we're going there. You coming? And I'd have to. Oh God, I miss it. It's been. I think Iceland was the last one, and I miss it. I miss that. It's so. And I've been watching the videos. A friend of mine gave me the films, the Chile one. Do you remember? It was the cats on the table. Do you remember that?
right.
You know
That was
that.
yeah. Oh,
Just,
what was your take on Iceland? How would you describe it to somebody?
oh, it's like going on every planet in the solar system. That you imagine it is. 1 minute you're on this red landscape, go over the mountain, and then you're on the moon, isolated, otherworldly. Yeah, strange. Um, Clean, great riding. The tarmac was immaculate. The asphalt was immaculate. But just going through these lunar landscapes, the food was great. The people were strange, endearingly strange. And I mean that in a really kind way. I don't mean that in any, I'm looking sideways on saying that. No, I loved it. I loved it. It's expensive, but if you know it's expensive, you just prepare extra longer for longer time, don't you, before you go? Yeah, liked it, loved it, loved them all. Phil, there was no bad place. I've never been anywhere where I thought this is shit. Nowhere. It's lovely. Yeah.
Even that room full of teddy bears.
Oh, mate. Yeah, how odd was that?
Where was
That
that?
was Scotland, wasn't it? Wasn't that in Scotland?
It was in Scotland. Yeah, it was
And they
on
were
the
all, yeah, weren't they all? Hello, come in.
yeah,
Hello,
there
how
and
are
Phil,
you?
there were for sure there were hundreds of them. I don't know if there were 1,000, but they were stacked like five,
Yeah, they
10
was
deep. It was
up the
insane.
stairs, on the banisters, on the shelves, in on the windowsills, looking out of the
Stitched onto the
house.
towels. There were just bears
Was this
everywhere.
just one
Was it like
hotel or?
It was a yeah, Airbnb
a
type
guest
place
house? Yeah, it
or
was like
inn.
someone's house that
Yeah.
they'd converted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we slept kind of in the attic, if I remember right,
I
that
think so.
place.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
I mean, they made it nice, but it was the attic.
They were lovely, but that's possibly the creepiest place I've ever been, ever. Yeah. Just, I don't know if we slept. Did you sleep that night? I don't think I slept well that
No, because I kept thinking that I was going to get stabbed by someone with a really big smile.
Yeah. Oh my.
But it's great, right? That's what we're looking for. If
Yeah.
it would have
Yeah.
been just another nondescript room, neither of us would know about it, and Phil wouldn't be part of this conversation either. It was because they were endearingly odd. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I guess, they're the ones you remember, aren't they? I remember, it's that unexpected strangeness. It has, I remember we were lucky enough to ride through Sicily a couple of years ago. We got these bikes in Palermo and with Barb's on the back and her cousin and the other cousin. And we ended up in this town. It was really raining, hammering it down rain. And we just found this town. There was no one in it. It was desolate. No one, nothing. It wasn't run down. There was curtains on the windows. And then there was a kid walking across the road. I don't know, we've been riding around for 10 minutes, say, and asked him where we can stay. And there was a school, a converted school. It was a hotel now. No one else was in there. He came back with the keys. We stayed in there and he told us there is a restaurant, found this restaurant that was part of an old church. This incredible food turned up, this really insecure big chubby red-faced chef who just wanted us to love his food. But the hotel was, I don't know, it was the Overlook Hotel. It was like The Shining. It was, yeah, just magic. Those, yeah, you don't want it fluffy at all, do you? You just want it odd, odd as you like. But you couldn't go and find them, could you, I suppose? If we said, right, scouting mission to find the odd, mind you probably could in Scotland. Yeah, I bet every town's got one. Mm. But no, you're right. Yeah, definitely right. It's those quirky moments are the best. Yeah, definitely. I miss them. Yeah.
What would be a highlight of your travels until now?
Whoa.
Or the first couple?
I'm trying to think of something really funny. There's loads of funny little
Yeah, but
silly
to
little funny
you.
things. For me, I think I was a bit overwhelmed. Really lucky enough to go to Tibet and see had Mount Everest to myself, the North Face, just above the base camp, where you're not allowed in the base camp, but there's this kind of tents they let you stay in. And I remember just sitting there, a few of the other people that had been on the tour, because you couldn't get in there at the time without being on an organised tour. And he was an American dude from Seattle that was organising it. It was just brilliant. That was great. But then the sunset and the shadow went over the North Face. So I watched it go from the east, from the west side of it, as I was looking, go over the complete North Face, and it went into, the sun going down, twilight, and then night. Yeah, overwhelmed. That was massive highlight. Just having a laugh, just having, at the end of the day, when you're on the bikes, you've had a bit of a challenging day. I mean, most of it was challenging for me, the off-road stuff, because I'm not used to it. We don't do it much here unless you're lucky. And then one of those nights, any of those nights, Phil, the road to Cotahuasi, that's an easy one to say, but there was loads of them, just making it. And it was unexpected. Again, it's quirky.
Yeah, the
You think,
deepest canyon in the world in Peru, right?
yeah, yeah, that was it. Was it? We looked at the map. It was about 4 in the afternoon. And I think it was you that said, "No, don't worry about it. It's only 100 kilometers or 60 kilometers or some, And we all went, well, he knows what he's on about. That'd be all right. And it took us like 8 hours or something. And there was this, yeah, and you disappeared because we thought you'd gone over the edge. So that was it. But luckily, I don't know how you rode down there so quick. I will never know how you got down there so quick. All guns blazing. And then, yeah, those. And then finding a bit of chicken at the end of that. You'd found some chicken for us, some beer. Yeah, those nights, mate. Honestly, you can't. Yeah, they're gold. They're golden. They're magical. Yeah, and there's loads of them on the bikes, on the road. Yeah, there's loads of them. Yeah.
Do you remember the first when you caught the travel bug? Like, were you inspired by someone when you were a kid who you
Yeah.
knew, a family friend, or?
Yeah, a teacher, the only teacher I ever listened to. I was 7 or 8 years old, junior school. Mr. Holland Jones, crazy bloke. He was Welsh, but he'd lived in Canada and he'd spent time in Alaska, and he showed us he told us about the star constellations and cloud formations. So I listened because it was fascinating. That's it. So when when I had the opportunity, the family came into some money, 2003. It was like, where are you going to go? Right, I'm going to Alaska. I've got a chance here. I can actually go. It's not that I'm never going to go there. So that's not really catching the travel bug.
Why
I
Alaska?
think because Mr. Holland Jones kept talking about it. He'd tell us about the bears and the
You just told us
Lights.
that, Phil. Pay attention.
Sorry, I was just wondering why in particular Alaska. Sorry,
Because he was I don't know, I was 8. It just held a fascination, maybe because it's up on the edge of the planet. It's up there in the corner, but he really emphasized it, and I listened to him, and he could go into these rages. I remember he'd foam at the mouth if you did something. He was horrible, but yet he was fascinating, and so he must have been, as far as I remember. Christ, I was 8. I can't remember it that well, but he used to go off hiking. He always had hiking boots on. Yeah, and he just used to say, I think it was the Northern Lights and the bears really that got me. And he had a telescope, and we was allowed to go back to school in the evening and look through his telescope. And he first told me about Beetlejuice, and I always look at Beetlejuice still and think, I wonder where he is. So he's the only influence on my life, really. But then, I don't know, just always wanted to go to Alaska, loved motorcycles, had just got back into motorcycles after about 10 years. And Dad just asked a question. He said to me and my sister, where do you want to go? Have the holiday of your dreams. We've got a bit of money. So straight in my head, I didn't think too much about it. Alaska motorcycle. And next thing we find you. Yeah. And it's been great ever since. And yeah. So the travel bug really was that first trip to Alaska, really, because that gave me a lease of life. Because I'd come back and go back into my pretty poor job, which was great. We had a laugh, and I'm going to write a book about it one day, hopefully. Some real social misfits that don't belong anywhere else in society except in that post room. You'd avoid them on the street. Real funny people. And it was a good laugh. So, and then I'd work for a couple of years and think, right, I've got enough money now to go on another one. And by that time, you'd have already come up with an idea, or someone would have thrown, right, Peru. Oh, brilliant. Right, that's in a year. I can get the money together. So, yeah, it's I guess, Alaska motorcycle tours and Phil, really. It was you, man.
Nah, it was
It was you.
Third grade teacher.
Come here.
Yeah,
I think
how
that's
people meet. Yeah, wow. That was Simon Siggs, motorcycle rider, angel investor, hat wearer, food truck entrepreneur. If you want to learn more about Simon or anything else that 10 Minute Travels does, please check out 10minutetravels.com.
We want to remind you that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure. And please like, subscribe, and share this podcast on all the platforms.